Am I audible? Am I visible? If I could get a thumbs up, guys. Okay. So let's get started with the CAT VARC 2024 questions. As discussed last time, in case you guys were not there with me, odd man out is one of the sets of questions which is not a part of the family, right? When I say family, if I say, there are sentences which talk about sports, right? There are sentences which talk about, say, specifically football, right? And then there's one statement that talks about Olympics, right? So we would see that sports is a generic statement that pulls in the context of football, like how many players are there, right? What leads to penalty shots, which are the best teams or the clubs doing well in that, right? But at the same time, if we talk about Olympics, if there's a statement that talks about Olympics, that would be a black sheep there because it doesn't really fit in the family here, right? We're talking about sports, we're talking about football, but Olympics is just one, competition, one, you know, an event which talks about all sports in one arena. But when we're talking about sports and that to football, that basically clubs the family, right? So any statement that goes a little away from the family is the odd man out in general, right? So if we talk about few questions we discussed in the previous class, I think we were done with the question still here. Did we do this question last time? Yeah. Was this question attempted last time, guys, or did I give it to you for homework? If not, please quickly try this out. I think this was done, right? This was done. Let's try this question. Let's try this question where we have four sentences, right? So, first of all, you try to figure out the correct sequence for it. Once you get the sequence, you can figure out the odd man out. Okay? Please have a look at these four sentences very quickly. Try to figure out which of the sentences doesn't really fall into the the family, the sequence we have, and then we will discuss it within maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever time you need. So when we're talking about a similar impression, right, you need to figure out what does it refer to. 35 years and 342 days, Roger Federer became the oldest man to win the singles title in the open era, a full 14 years after he was first claimed the title as a scruffy ponytail upstart. Once he had survived the opening week, the second week witnessed the range of arrested Federer's genius. Given that his month method isn't reliant on explosive athleticism or muscular ball striking, both vulnerable to decay, there is cause to believe that Federer will continue to enchant for a while longer. So, will continue. This shows this might come towards the end because it's talking about future. Right. So try to figure out what can be the introductory sentence. Try to get the sequence if you can. And then maybe, either of the sides, the extreme ends, would have an odd man out sentence. Please drop in your sequence if you're done. Shall we discuss it? Okay. Relaxing Bunny. Nice name. All right. So again, if you look at the sequence, guys, over the past fortnight, similar impression. As I said, similar impression. We need to figure out which impression is the author referring to. 35 years, 342 days, Roger Federer became the oldest man to win the singles title, right? So this kind of introduces the idea. This introduces the idea, right? So can I have two as the opening sentence? Once he had survived the opening week, which opening week am I referring to? Is it the same open era full 14 years after he's claimed this? Given that this method isn't reliant on explosive athleticism or muscular ball striking, both vulnerable to decay, there's a cause to believe that Federer will continue to enchant for a while longer. So if you keep 4 with 2, does it really stand here as a strong sentence because it's referring to future? अगर यही चलता रहा, तो he'll keep on enchanting for a while longer. And once he'd survived the opening week, second week witnessed the range of a rested Federer's genius. Right? So this shows that once this happened, then there was a similar thing which was witnessed. Over the past fortnight, one of the finest champions managed to pull off a similar impression. Wimbledon's greatest illusion is the same of timelessness it evokes. Right? So 2, if I keep 4 next to it, I'm not sure where would it go, but definitely, yeah, definitely, first definitely comes close to third. Right? We can definitely have a pair of 1 and 3. Over the past fortnight, one of its finest champions managed to pull off a similar impression. Which impression? Survived the opening week. The second week witnessed the range of arrested Federers. So 1-3 definitely comes together. And it cannot be an odd man out. Right? 2 talks about Roger Federer became the oldest man to win the singles title in open era. Right? But 4, this method isn't reliant on explosive athleticism or muscular ball striking, both vulnerable to decay. Right? So this may be together, but 4th, if I look at, it does not come close to neither 2 nor 1 or 3. Right? So which sentence should be the odd one out here? Which sentence do you think should be the odd one out? Would it be 2, 3, 4, 1? No. Sentence number 4 is the odd man out. Right? We are not talking about what would continue for long decades to come. Right? Or which methodology is he using? Second, 35 years, 342 days, oldest man to win the singles, done. First talks about past fortnight, one of the finest champions managed to pull off a similar impression. Wimbledon's greatest illusion is the sense of timelessness it evokes. Right? And 3. 3 also talks about he'd survived the opening week, second week witnessed the range of rested Federer's genius. So this and this is again very close. 1 is also referring to the same game, but 4 talks about that method. Right? So that doesn't really fit in the family here. So it should be 2, 1, 3 anyway close. 4 being the outlier here. Okay. Is everybody good with the question? Anybody who felt 1 could be the odd man out here? Why aren't we taking 1 as the odd man out here? Guys, are we good with the question? So 1 says, over the past fortnight, one of its finest champions managed to pull off a similar impression. Wimbledon's greatest illusion is the sense of, yeah, right, Wes. Right, sense of timelessness it evokes. So it actually, it is a little generic sentence, but very much close to the introductory part, right? And 3, once it survived the opening week, we're talking about Wimbledon's opening week here, right? So that is where the connection comes, 1 and 3 being close. Whereas 4th talks about the method, how was it done? It will continue to happen. So because it has will in it, it refers to future, it should come towards the end, right? So the sequence comes as 2, 1, 3, and maybe 4. Right? So 4 has to be at the end. Is everybody good? Rest 1 gets connected with 3rd, so it's not the odd man out here. Guys, are we good? Can we move ahead to the next question now? Okay. Please have a look at this question. Have a look at this question. Figure out the odd man out. We have 5 sentences in this one. Do you suggest while solving O-type questions, we first arrange the sentences in order, then we weed out the odd one out without arranging the rest in order? So my suggestion to you is If you get the sequence, if you're able to get the sequence first, it's always and always better to arrange it in a sequence and look at the extremes, right? Or at times it happens when you're running through the sentences, you'll find that there's a pair or a triplet you're able to figure out. And then one of the sentences will be left without that pair, or it would be talking about altogether a different story, right? So you try to figure out those pairs or triplets if that sorts it for you. Or if you try to figure out the entire sentence sequence, then the only challenge is कि वो अरेंज करने में पूरा पैराजम्बल का एक सीक्वेंस बनाने में फिर ऑड मैन आउट फिगर आउट करने में थोड़ा टाइम एक्स्ट्रा लगेगा आपको, ठीक है? एंड डेटा बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आर द वंस व्हिच आर एक्चुअली पेनलाइजिंग यू इन टर्म्स ऑफ टाइम. भले ही आपके मार्क्स डिडक्ट नहीं होंगे इवन इफ यू मिस मार्क द क्वेश्चन, still what you're being penalized is in terms of your time, which is highly crucial right now when you have so much paucity of time. So better not to arrange it completely, but try to figure out which pairs or triplets you can figure out in the sentence context. I hope that answers your question, history. Okay, done with the question, guys. Nakshata, Indian philosophy. Is it history? Okay. Shall we have a look at the question together? I see 3 of you answered it too. It definitely should be 2. I hope so. Although we are born with a gift of language, research shows that we are surprisingly unskilled when it comes to communicating with others. Fine. Language to sabko aata hai, but surprisingly we're not able to communicate well with the others. We must carefully orchestrate our speech. Orchestrate means usko अच्छे से define करके words को. Words are the modulating devices, right? They should be used very carefully as per the author here. If we want to achieve our goals and bring our dreams to fruition, as in they should be accomplished. We often choose our words without thought, oblivious of the emotional effects. Oblivious means without, bereft of emotional effects they can have on others. So we should basically, oblivious would rather here refer to, we should be mindful of the emotional effects we are creating on others. We talk more than we need to, ignoring the effect we are having on others listening to us. We listen poorly without realizing it, and we often fail to pay attention to the subtle meanings conveyed by facial expressions, body gestures, and the tone and cadence of our voice. Right? So, second is the odd man out. Did you guys figure out the sequence also here? At least to open up, maybe figuring out the generic sentence would help. So, which sentence should be the opening sentence here? Must carefully is more of a suggestion. ठीक है, ये क्या है? ये सजेशन बता रहा है कि ऑथर टुवर्ड्स एंड क्या बोलेगा कि क्या करना चाहिए हमें, ठीक है? ये सारे सेंटेंसेस क्या कर रहे हैं? ये हमारी हैबिट्स बता रहे हैं. वी लिसन पुअरली, वी टॉक मोर, वी ऑफन चूज आवर वर्ड्स लाइक दिस, वी आर बॉर्न विद द गिफ्ट ऑफ लैंग्वेज. सो डेफिनेटली इवन इफ आई लुक एट द सीक्वेंस, ठीक है, यहाँ पे मुझे सीक्वेंस वैसे तो फिगर आउट करने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, बिकॉज एज आई टोल्ड यू ऑल ऑफ द अदर सेंटेंसेस टॉक अबाउट एक्शंस, हाउ वी एक्ट लाइक, right? And this is a suggestion, this is the author's opinion, so naturally it stands out as an opinion, as a odd man out here. But if we are about to look at the sequence, it should start with 1. This talks about the generic sentence key language is a gift we are born with, still we fail to communicate properly with others. That's a drawback, right? Then what we do, we listen poorly, we talk more, choose our words without thinking about the emotional impact it might have on others. And at the end, the author would say we must carefully orchestrate our speech if we want to achieve our goals and bring our dreams to fruition. So anyway, it lies at the hindsight, at the extreme end. So second is the odd man out. More to it. It is towards the suggestion side. So it has to be the odd man out as compared to the other sentences. I hope that's cool. 1. Many of you said 1. Okay. We're born with a gift of language. Research shows that we're surprisingly unskilled when it comes to communicating with others. So 1 should be the opening sentence. I think that's for the opening sentence you might have answered, no? Yeah, 1 has to be the opening sentence, but second, because it comes as a suggestion, what the author wants us to do. So it should come towards the extreme end. So yes, absolutely. Second is the correct answer. It was an easy one anyway. Let's move ahead to the next one. So this is a Parajumble question. Have we tried this before? I think we did. Please have a look at the question and let me know if this was done before, guys. If not, we'll try it as a Parajumble and also as an odd man out question. If you haven't tried it, please try to figure out the correct sequence. Funny names you guys have. Hungry potato. So, what was the reason behind picking it up as hungry potato? What's the potato hungry of? The sausage? The tomatoes? Yeah? Cool, 10 years back. Oh, long since you've been using this name, probably. But the potato shouldn't be hungry. It's full of carbs, isn't it? Maybe it needs some calcium. Yeah? Some tomatoes, some peas to make a complete sandwich. Yours been timeless, oh my god, Indian history. True, that true. All right, Kaushik. Got the sequence? Hmm. And there we have relaxing bunny, ready to eat the hungry potato, enjoying the timeless history. Yeah? Okay. So, by reasoning, we mean the mental process of drawing an inference from two or more statements or going from the inference to statements which yield that inference. All right. So, logical reasoning covers those types of questions which imply drawing an inference from the problems. Logic means if we take its original meaning, the science of valid reasoning, clearly for understanding arguments and for drawing this inference correctly, it is necessary that we should understand the statements first. Right. So, clearly for understanding this is more like even if I do not know the sequence, definitely D has to be at the hindsight. It comes towards the end, right? Because clearly, eventually, finally, henceforth. So all of them conclude the conclusion side. Understanding arguments of drawing the inference, it is necessary that we should understand the statements first. लास्ट में आएगा. इससे पहले क्या आना चाहिए? बाय रीजनिंग वी मीन, अभी रीजनिंग हमने इंट्रोड्यूस किया क्या कहीं पे? नहीं किया. लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, ओके. लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में भी लॉजिक इज द फर्स्ट वर्ड, राइट? So all of these sentences fall after we have introduced the first word, that is logic. So what is logic? It means if we take its original meaning, the sense of valid reasoning, right? So C starts, and then logic means this. By reasoning, we means this. By logic, we mean the mental process of drawing an inference. So it comes A post C. So logical reasoning collectively covers those types of questions which imply drawing an inference from the problem. Concluding this altogether, the understanding we have is that for drawing the inference correctly, it is necessary that we should understand the statements first. So CABD is the sequence, so answer has to be B, Bombay. I hope this is correct, guys. Is everybody good with the question? Yeah, CABD is the correct one. अब मुझे बताओ इनमें से if you have to figure out the odd man out, which one would it be and why? Which of the following is the odd man out, guys, and why? Tell me. Would it be C or D? Okay. They all are important though, and it'll be a little tough to figure out. Yeah, but A, B, and C are very much close as compared to D. D is more like कि D नहीं भी होगा, conclusion नहीं भी दोगे तो भी that family would still retain its value. Yeah, it has to be D, right? So in such scenarios where you find, okay, I'm not able to figure out the sequence, I'm not able to figure out the odd man out at times, just try to club together. So ABC is a triplet here. That's what I wanted to, make the conclusion. If you look at CAB, right, this is a triplet. You have reasoning, you have logical reasoning, you have logic. So all these three sentences are connected. But D is eventually concluding it all together, which is not really needed. Okay, next question. So you can read this instruction if you want to. 1 to 6 sentences होंगे, उसमें odd man out है. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Yeah. So 1 and 6 are odd man out, I mean, not odd man out. They're the fixed sentences for you, right? This is fixed for you, and this is also fixed. You're supposed to figure out the sequence for these four. So for these four, of course, sequence is one thing you can try to figure out. But apart from that, also try to see if out of ABCD you're able to figure out the odd man out. Okay. Also, it's just one sentence at times which has been broken for you. Please let me know if you guys are done. All right. Try to club with 1 and 6. In case you are stuck, just try to see what fits in with 1, what fits in with 6, and then the sequence in the mid. Yeah. Post-war German law banned the sale and public display of books espousing Nazi philosophy. There also was great concern in some circles, even at the end of 20th century, both in Germany and the countries where the book was published. Foreign publication of Make-Up brought condemnation as in like to stop, to break away, to basically to not to allow over the availability of this book from internet-based booksellers, right? So yeah, figuring out odd man out might be a little easy here, right? Let's try to figure out the sequence very quickly. German law banned the sale and public display. So it's an introduction which has been already fixed for you. Right? Display of books espousing Nazi philosophy. Now, there also was great concern in some circles. Can I have this? Or foreign publication of this brought condemnation over the availability, even at the end, also great concern in some circles. Right? So maybe we could connect A with what? With C, right? Somewhere you might also feel that A might be connected with C, but it might not be a right connection, right away connection. Right? Public display of books was banned. That is what it says. Then foreign publication of this brought condemnation. Why was it banned? Why was it banned, right? We need to justify this. Like, why was it banned? So this justification is here. Foreign publication of Meerkampf brought condemnation to both in Germany and the countries where the book was published. Okay, they condemned it. And then if we look at B, so if we're trying to connect D with C, okay, and the foreign publication of this brought condemnation here, both in Germany and the countries where the book was published. Even at the end of the 20th century, there also was great concern in some circles. No. Was published even at the end of 20th century. There was also great concern in some circles over the availability of this book from internet-based booksellers. Even at the end of the 20th century, there also was great concern. So can we connect B with A? Yeah, B could be connected with A, or B could be connected with sentence. So it should be 1. 1 ke baad we get post-war this, even at the end of 20th century. So this even and there also. This is a strong connection. Foreign publication of Meerkampf brought condemnation. Condemnation where? both in Germany and the countries where the book was published, right? Display of books espousing Nazi philosophy. And there's no specific sentence on the book, right? So it should be connected with C. It should be connected with C. Then you have, even at the end of the 20th century, there also was great concern in some circles over this, right? So there was also concern. So it comes here, and therefore B falls here. So DCBA, this is what we get. And if I have to figure out the odd man out now, DCBA बन गया एक सीक्वेंस. उसके बाद अब odd man out कैसे निकलेगा इसमें? Second or third, how do we figure out? Second talks about even at the end of the 20th century, there was great concern in some circles. Actual में, of course, इसमें एक तो odd man out थोड़ा सा figure out करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा because B and A are like one sentence. ठीक है, this is like one sentence. And both in Germany and countries, book was published. There was a ban, condemnation of it. 6 is also not very close. Okay. I think let's not practice odd man out on this particular question because we have two sentences which is actually one sentence broken into two. Okay, so A and B are very much the same sentence. Let's have a look at the next one. Let's try this. First, you try it only for the sequence. If we get the right sequence, again, odd man out would be a little tough in this, but we can definitely try it for parajumble question. Just try to figure out the correct sequence. Let's not try it for odd man out because some of the sentences are broken themselves into two. It says he gave it a spiritual coloring and expected a feeling of dedication. Okay, who's he? He secretly published and circulated a pamphlet, Bhavani Mandir, to the motherland as of a son to the mother. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and pleaded for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule. Emancipation means to get freedom, right? To be liberated. When he was at Baroda, okay, so again 1 and 6, and then you have middle four sentences jumbled. Spiritual coloring and expected a feeling of dedication. Okay. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother. Can I introduce C here? First, you want to try the question? Should I reveal the answer post that? Which option should we go for, guys? Since you've already introduced spiritual coloring expected a feeling of dedication, Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and to the motherland as of a son to the mother. Right? So we have C and then post C and to the mother. Okay, it should be CB. That is what we see. Dedication pleaded for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and he secretly published and circulated pamphlet Bhavani Mandir to the motherland as of mother. So it could also be Aurobindo projected the concept of land as a mother and the second part, he secretly published and circulated a pamphlet Bhavani Mandir to the motherland as of son to the mother. Right? Pleaded for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule. And then you have this. So sequence should be 1. And then you have C, concept of land as mother and to the motherland as of son to the mother. So this should come towards the end when he was at Baroda. Right? So we have B and then you have 6. Now in between, if I try to figure out the sequence, It should be he secretly published and circulated a pamphlet. So this kind of this concept context projected the concept of land as mother, and he secretly published goes here, right? Then we have pleaded for emancipation of the shackles of foreign rule. Do not be bothered by these full stops or commas; they're just to confuse you, right? And eventually we have CADB, and then we have six, right? So that's the sequence which falls here. I hope everybody is good with the question, guys. Any other option you found as an answer choice or you'd want to discuss? Why are we introducing the concept of Aurobindo right after this? Because we have the character to be introduced. He gave it a spiritual coloring and expected a feeling of dedication. So Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and secretly publishing and circulating a pamphlet Bhavani Mandir. It was more like pleading for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule to the motherland as of the son to the mother. Right? Why not BCDA? Huh? Let's have a look at BCDA as well. Gave it a spiritual coloring, expected a feeling of dedication. Then you have to the motherland as of son to the mother. Okay. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and pleaded for emancipation from the shackles. No, but then this doesn't really fit in. See, if I have used a pronoun here, I should try to place the noun it's referring to closest, right? Which is in C. So Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and secretly published and circulated pamphlet Bhavani Mandir, which was more like pleading for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule to the motherland as of sons. Like, the same relation. More correct. B as in BCDA, you said. Huh, but B, how would you justify B? A feeling of dedication to the motherland. Give it spiritual coloring and expected a feeling of dedication to the motherland as of son to the mother. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and pleaded for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule. He secretly published and circulated a pamphlet Bhavani Mandir. This I think also goes on logically better. Yes, we should consider second option better as compared to C. Right. It's about the construction of this mandir. So, yes, one ke baad we should have B as of a son to the mother. Aurobindo projected the concept of land as mother and pleaded for emancipation from the shackles of foreign rule. So he secretly published and circulated a pamphlet. Right. I think logically, yes, B is a better option. So we should go for B rather than going for C. That's correct. That is correct. C does seem to be, catchy first, but later on, when we go by the logical sequence, I think B falls in better as compared to the dedication, which has been shown in one. Okay, so we'll carry on with the practice in the next session, which is on coming Sunday, guys. A seems like a better prelude to A6. वो तो है, वो तो मतलब yes. B, in fact, when I was looking at B, I somewhere felt as a son to the mother, and then when he was at Baroda, doesn't really fit in well here, but I still thought maybe C was the opening sentence, so we should go for third option. But you're right. A secretly published and circulated pamphlet Bhavani Mandir when he was at Baroda. Yeah, I think that's correct. It's a better prelude to 6. That's absolutely right. Yes, that's right. All right, guys. So we'll close up here. Thank you so very much for joining in, and we connect coming Sunday for the next session. We'll have similar type of questions, Parajumbles, and maybe some questions on para summary as well to introduce. Okay. Thank you so very much. We'll see you on Sunday now. Have a great night, guys.